Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm just going to reset this video. I'm knackered. I had an awful night's sleep. Won't go into it. Just kids. Anyway, right. So I am doing another of my weekly videos. I guess in recent weeks I've been talking about different aspects of I guess insights for younger people, being middle-aged, etc. We've all lived a bit. I think I've lived a bit. So I've talked about career, I've talked about money, I've talked about relationships. If you want to know what I've kind of said, please refer to other videos. My insights, not the truth, it's just my truth. Today I'm going to talk about time, and I say time in terms of how you spend your time on just stuff that isn't work and family. Yeah, so no script, just whatever comes to my mind of the moment and see how this goes. Now, I know you're not meant to regret stuff. I know it's really cool to say, I don't regret anything in life, la 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 la. But sometimes I do regret things that I could have done when I was younger. You know, things like, I still remember a trip that a group of friends were going to at New Year's Eve. And admittedly, you know, the money was an issue. No, it wasn't an issue. I was just thinking about money at the time rather than the experience. You know, and this was a trip to Toledo in Spain where, and I don't ski or have skied, but I'm not a skier, but it was a ski resort, New Year's Eve, a big group of friends were going, and, you know, it'd have been something kind of cool. And I didn't go. And I had an all right New Year's Eve, you know, in London, kind of doing the same thing that I've always done. And that's cool. But I do think about that opportunity kind of missed. And it wasn't a big thing in the bigger scheme of life. You know, I've had a great life in terms of experiences, lived in Asia, lived in the US. I've traveled loads of places around the world. But it's things like that, you know, where I had the opportunity to do something, another experience, and I turned it down. Another one that comes to mind is just before I came out to Asia a number of years ago, friends of mine were going to a festival. Now, I don't know why I didn't want to go. I said to them, no, I just want another, you know, a final weekend in London. Do I remember what I did in that weekend? No. Probably went to the same places with other friends, had another night out. But this festival was, I think it was maybe the Reading Festival in the UK. And I haven't been to festivals, many. I mean, I haven't been to festivals where you sleep in tents, and it would have been another experience. And again, not big in the bigger scheme of life. You know, these things are, you know, just pinpricks in terms of life's experiences. But when you have these opportunities to experience something different, experience something that could change your perspective on life in big or small ways, I think you should try and consider it. And I know, again, I'm talking more to, I'm kind of talking to younger people, but also to older people, because I think when you get beyond a certain age, I don't know what age that is, 40, 45, 50, I don't know, you start to become less keen on taking risks. And that's understandable for so many reasons. Physically, financially, emotionally, you don't want to do certain things, but you do find yourself kind of restricting the size of your world. You do find yourself becoming smaller, and that's it. I think one of the things I want to embrace more is this idea of a big life. What does a big life involve? It could involve money and spending money, but maybe not. I think it's just having more interesting stories to tell about the world. your experiences of the world. I remember having a conversation a number of years ago with someone who was a lot younger, and we were talking about something going on in the news at the time. We had different perspectives. His perspective was what he'd read a lot about in terms of, this is going on in the US, that is going on in the US, da, 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 da. My perspective was from someone that had lived in the US and had experienced it. It's not to say that mine was right, but it had, in my view, more substance to the argument rather than just reading a perspective. So really, all this message is about is to just live a little. Again, try a few things. I've been playing the piano and the guitar since I was a kid, but I'm no good at either. Had I applied myself properly, I would be a master at both, no doubt. But life happens. But I tried them and I moved on. And I think we all need to try things out, tinker with, and sometimes something clicks and it becomes part and parcel of our identity. As I've said in the past, I have a finance background, but I've also been a career coach. I've also been a resume writer. I've also dabbled with multi-level marketing. Don't do it. I've also had so many part-time and temporary and seasonal jobs in different times of my life. Those are all amazing experiences, which in my view gives me a perspective on work, on side hustles to some degree. But that's all about trying things out. So I think we should all continue to push to try things out. I say this is aimed at younger people, but really I think this is even more important, well, not even more, just as important for older people. As I said before, when you get to a certain age, you do start to stunt. Your life becomes a bit more stunted because you become comfortable with what you know. You are more geared towards status quo, and it's as if the life's big experiences, big adventures have now gone. So I think we should always all keep on trying and testing things. I think even more so from an older person's perspective, where we know that brain health is very important. We know that things like Alzheimer's and dementia, there's some element of it that can be at least perhaps delayed. I'm no scientist, so I'm just saying what I think I've seen. At least some of it can be delayed by continuing to test yourself, continuing to expand your experiences, take up a hobby, a new hobby, take up a musical instrument, try and learn a new language. None of these things are going to be easy, but that's almost the point of it. It's testing yourself in a way that allows you to stretch your current existence. And from a younger person's perspective, it's really about broadening your horizons, because you don't know what you don't know. I still remember as a kid thinking, I did my own weird version of arithmetic, if you will, where I was trying to calculate where the best place in the world was to live. And so I discerned, firstly, was it going to be north of the equator or south of the equator? I decided north of the equator. Was it going to be Europe or the US or Asia? I decided it had to be Europe. Within Europe, it had to be the UK. Within the UK, it had to be London. Within London, it had to be north, south, east or west. I decided southwest. Within southwest, it had to be which district. And I decided a place called Wimbledon. You'll know the place in terms of tennis. I'd never lived there, but I'd always liked the look of it. And I decided, from my very, very narrow perspective on life, that the best place to live in the world was Wimbledon. I was probably about 12 or 13 when I said that. I think I'd only been to one, maybe two countries in my life at that point. And that was my perspective. Now, that's just kind of like a metaphor for how very narrow perspectives on life can shape, a viewpoint. But in a bigger picture, a lot of us live in that same manner. We only know what we know, what we've been exposed to. So expose yourself to more things, to more experiences, and life can open up to a myriad of new and exciting opportunities. Okay, I am, as I said, I'm quite tired today, but that's life, really. You just got to keep on trying new stuff and experiencing new things. But yes, the message really would be particularly, well, not particularly to either young or old. Just keep trying stuff. I think when you're younger, you can take more risks. Go backpacking, go on that date with that person that you just saw at the bus stop, things like that. Those are sorts of things perhaps aren't going to be happening for the older generation, but that doesn't stop them from trying stuff out, different stuff, things that they've always wanted to do. So my message is just keep trying stuff. Time is a finite item. We can't make any more of it, and that's one thing we know that is disappearing, the time that we have on this earth. Okay, and on that positive note, I will say adieu, and until next time, bye-bye.